Welcome to another time again. So we are going to be looking at DOM access and type assertion in TypeScript. All right, DOM access and type assertion in TypeScript. Sorry, in TypeScript. So let me fill it up completely. DOM access and type assertion in TypeScript. Okay, so the DOM, which is the full meaning for which is an acronym for the document object model, represent the structure of a web page. So the DOM represents the HTML document. All right. So DOM DOM method that is allows you to access and manipulate HTML elements using the TypeScript or JavaScript. So the DOM method allows you to manipulate HTML element. Put that HTML element, okay, it's linked here, script.js, script.js. So the DOM method allows you manipulate our HTML element using JavaScript or TypeScript. So let's comment. So there are three ways you can be able to do that. All right, you can be able to retrieve an element from HTML to TypeScript using the ID, using the class name, using the tag name, or make use of the query selector method. Whichever way is fine by you, you can do that. Then you proceed using TypeScript. Don't forget, for you to have a full scope of that, you can visit our YouTube channels and study um, DOM methods for JavaScript. There you can see how you can be able to use different method to access your DOM, your HTML elements. So let's proceed. We just make use of accessing the DOM method using the ID. First of all, we'll come here. All right, we'll come here and say, okay, let's give this an ID name. Say ID. We'll call this header. All right. So for us to retrieve, don't forget this is TypeScript. To retrieve using TypeScript. All right. For us to retrieve, it's okay. Const header. So we go to document dot get element by ID. So in the ID, you now call the ID name we give it, which is header. So now, how do you? So you type this using what we call type assertion. If you just come and run this now, let's see. We're trying to console log header. Let's see what's gonna happen. Console.log header. Let's see if we're gonna throw an error. So let's see if we're gonna throw an error actually. So we come here. Let's compile and see if this will throw an error. First of all, before adding our TypeScript, you see, it's throwing an error. Let's see. So you can already declare block shape variable header. Header was declared here. Okay, let's see. Don't worry. So let's run this on the browser and see. Actually did this, but don't forget this is not type. In TypeScript, it's better to be safe. So we do the typing. How do we type it? Okay, we type it using type assertion at. We type we add typing here using the type assertion known as type assertion as. So let me put it in the bracket as. All right. So because here before typing, TypeScript does not know the particular type that this is. All right. You might be thinking this is either HTML element, HTML element, or a null, or the null. So you must or the null. So you must determine what kind of you must be able to determine what exact type this element is. So for you to do that, then you must be able to type it using the type assertion. So type assertion is used to tell TypeScript the exact type of an element. The type assertion as is used to tell TypeScript the exact type of element. So let's come and say, okay, header will come and say, okay, const. Okay, so I wanted to, should I comment this or I'll do it again with TypeScript? Let me comment it here. we come and say const header is equal to document dot get element by ID. All right, so here you now call the ID name, which is header, as HTML heading element. So these are you type it. All right, you type your saying okay, element is typed as HTML heading elements. Perfect. All right, so you type you come and say okay, console.log. This is the console.log. You say header. Let's run this on our browser now. So let's recompile first of all. Go to our browser, reload. So this is done properly. So this is safer. All right. Without typing, without adding a type assertion, add the type. HTML can interpret the element in two ways: as an HTML element or as null. All right. So you need to type appropriately to avoid having errors in the future. As it's properly typed. So this is for header element. Let's say we have let's say let's go to HTML. Close this. Let's go and add to add image. I'm thinking whether to add image or okay. Let's say create a button element. So we have button here. It's okay. Click me. All right. So come and give an ID name BTN ID. We call this BT. All right. Let's go and the comment. Try to retrieve the comment. Okay. Const button equals to document dot query selector. So document will get element by ID. Then here we call the ID name here, which is BTN. So how do you type this at HTML button element? Alright, so you study and then and you notice when you study, you notice that you notice that each of these elements has TypeScript type. Alright, so for the head element is HTML heading element, for paragraph element, HTML paragraph element. So this is how it is typed. Alright, so if you come here, console log this now, you see that I successfully retrieved that button element on your console. The log, the button element here. So you see that you successfully retrieve it. So this is how you access your DOM, all right, to retrieve elements from your HTML to your TypeScript using the type assertion, all right, using type assertion. So each HTML element has a specific type assertion. Each HTML element has a specific type assertion. Let me just give you a few examples here. So I'll say, let me just comment this. Type assertion, TypeScript type for some elements. So you can study more on your own. So you come and say for header element, that's from H1 to H6. So as HTML heading. So this site is typed here, elements. So next for let's say for paragraph elements, for paragraph element, which is P as HTML HTML paragraph elements. Yeah. HTML paragraph elements. All right, HTML paragraph element. So next, let's use input. So input is type as this. Input elements. So now finally, let's do the for the image. The image element is there as so it goes on and on and on and on. Sorry. Perfect. So this is it. So these are examples of simple ways you can type element while using the DOM model. So using type assertion, you tell JavaScript exactly what element. So type assertion is used to tell JavaScript exactly what element you are working with. All right, exactly what element you are working. It's used to tell JavaScript exactly what element you are working with. Very very important. Very 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 important. Thank you very much. See you some other time.